So you've got yourself a nice little outboard for your dinghy or your tender, your fishing boat, but you want to get it off the boat for whatever reason. You want to work on it, you want to store it in the garage without having the boat take up all the space. So what do? Well, Titan has an awesome little steel frame dolly for outboards up to 175 pounds. You even have a deluxe version for outboards up to 315 pounds. Well, today we're going to build the little lightweight version and just show you how handy they can be. As we unbox the smaller dolly, we notice the powder-coated steel frame parts are all wrapped in plastic to help protect them during transport. Nice touch. We do have a handy-dandy diagram, but no instructions, so we're going to walk you through. It's pretty simple to do, and we're going to see how we do without ever having done one before. While we didn't have any instructions with this early production model, there is now a complete set in every new box. The two long handles are connected to the U-shaped bottom support and slide together. You will find a total of 14 M6 bolts in the box. 10 are 60 millimeters long and are used to secure the tubes together. Save the 4 75 millimeter bolts for securing the plastic board towards the end. You don't need one, but if you have a cordless drill, it will make assembly a bit faster. Rotate the handle to align the bolt holes. Flipping the assembled parts over so the bends in the handles face up will make it easier to install the short horizontal rods. Now, interestingly enough, these are, if you check these short rods that go back from the main frame to the wheels, there's a little divot in one side, and that's where you're going to line up with the cross member here. Use the supplied Allen key to hold the bolts while you lightly tighten the nuts. It's important to keep nuts and bolts loosely installed at first. Only tighten them fully at the end. Next, connect one of the vertical bars to the top of a handle on the inside. Without the instructions, it was difficult to tell from the diagram that the straps should be slid down the upright tubes before bolting them to the handles. Axle. At the bottom of this same bar, insert the axle so that it goes through the long vertical bar and the short horizontal bar. When both vertical bars are connected with the axle in between, you can mount the wheels to the outside. Make note to add a large washer to each side of the wheel. If you miss the inside washer like I did, it is easy to add later. If you put the vertical bars connected to the axle on the outside like I did, I've got them on backwards. Darn it. Now is the time to move them to the inside so that the handlebars are on the outside. Fasten the plastic board with the longer 75 millimeter bolts to the vertical tubes just inside the handle tubes. Use the flat washers along with the nuts on the tube side. Install the cross tube at the top between the two handles. We got this cool little basket, I'm pretty sure it's got Velcro, so we don't need to thread it on. The bag frame attaches with 4 more bolts. Now we've got basically everything put together, and we need to tighten it all up. And they did supply a couple of little tools, but it makes it much easier. All you need is a 10 millimeter socket, a drill, nice little impact gun here we have, and just gonna lightly tighten everything up at first. You don't want to grind it in there so far that it bends the steel tubing. We're gonna do the last fine adjustments with the wrench at the very end. And for our final little bit, snug everything up. If you haven't already, don't forget to bend the cotter pins around the axle to secure the wheels. Titan even includes hubcaps to cover the cotter pins. Push fairly hard and they will slide right on the end of the axle. With everything tight, you can now install the final cap nuts. You know, the bolts are long enough to work with in case the tubing's not exactly aligned, but then you've got these nice little nuts to prevent any cuts or scratches later. That's pretty cool. I haven't seen anyone think of this before. We're not missing any. We actually have exactly the number we need. This is a tool bag. Because when you're working on your outboard, your tools are always on the ground or you need another table, so it's pretty handy actually. See if I can get it on without knocking the whole thing off the table. There we go. Oh, sweet. Ta-da! So, without a camera, you can build this in half an hour, maybe an hour at the most. With the camera, it took us a little longer, it always does. However, it looks very sturdy, and I think the next step is to get the outboard on it. So now that we have it built, proof will be in the pudding. How well does the motor fit? It's only 147 pounds, but I'm gonna get my friend Dave, who owns this nice dinghy, to help me out. Dave, shall we give her a shot? Loosen off the motor and... Yeah. Oh, should we wind her down a little? You would think it was meant to fit this.
Fits like a glove.
Ha-ha! I guess the final test here is, how does she wheel? Oh, you see, now you can wander around with it without having to lug the thing. But once it's on the stand, this feels very, very solid and very, very stable. And because the wheels are so big, it's pretty easy to move around, even if the outboard turns unexpectedly. We've got a tool pouch, castle nuts on the end of all the bolt threads, so no scratches on your hands. Overall, I'd say a pretty cool device. Now, if you have an outboard more than 30 horsepower that weighs more than 175 pounds, not to worry, they do have a deluxe version that is capable of carrying up to 315 pounds. So stop lugging your outboard around, stop damaging your skag on the hard concrete, and get yourself a little dolly. For more information, visit the website at titanmarineproducts.com.